Welcome to Massa Beers. My name is Matt. We do the beer stuff here. As you can see, we're diving a little bit of OEC. See, I kind of rhymed there. Poet didn't know it. Yeah, OEC, it's their Helles Spezial. OEC, we don't get a ton by me, but it seems like maybe a not larger chain, but I guess a chain, Bottle King basically in Jersey. I don't think I've ever seen OEC there, and I saw like 4 different OECs there today, so I think that might be a thing. They're kind of expanding the horizons. I know distributorship has changed quite a bit in New Jersey, so it could be that at play. Otherwise, the more OEC by me, the better. I've covered a bunch of their beers. The last set of beers I reviewed by them I actually got from the brewery themselves when I went up to Beer Tube Palooza up in Connecticut. Stopped at OEC on my way there. So I'm super excited to dive into it. This is kind of like a brethren of their Cool Ship, because it's all Cool Ship Helles. Cool Ship, what was it? Cool Ship, Kolsch and Black Kolsch, I believe it was. And me and Keith from 93 Lumber did those. So I'm kind of curious to see where the sucker lands. It says here, OEC Brewing Helles Spezial. Cool Ship and open fermented. Government warning, 5.8% alcohol by volume. On the side here we have this special version of our German Helles is brewed to be heartier, using plenty of Munich malts for the winter months. During the boil, it is hopped using Triskel, Streusel Spalt, and Spalt Select. As for the boil, after the boil, it rests on our copper cool ship for 1 hour, then transferred into our Bandlut cooler. Undergoes a cool open fermentation for 9 days using classic lager yeast. It is cellared cold for several months prior to packaging. Yeah. I don't know the date on this. They have the pull tabs or the pack tech tops on their beers, and they typically put a sticker on there saying this is when it was. That wasn't on this, so I kind of did a little sleuthing. I think this is actually canned October, November of last year. Fine, open Cool Ship Helles, it'll be fine. Which means it was probably brewed in the early spring. Or even late winter this season, earlier of 2023, being that it's cold fermented for several months. So excited to dive into it, let's put it that way. Tomorrow is Easter. Had a nice 3-day weekend, head off Good Friday. New job I got is banging, I love it. And we also get a bunch of holidays off, which is not a negative thing. So, yeah, easing into Sunday, if you will. Likewise, I equally do not like OEC's label, while at the same time loving them, because they're kind of ghetto-like, uber traditional, and that's kind of how they roll when it comes to their beers, uber traditional, so it kind of does make sense. When I see their labels, I get excited because I know it's OEC, but I'm not going to sit here and say, that's great label art. I would be lying. Beer-wise, I mean, it looks like a nice, soft, subtle, hazy, kind of Helles on it. Nice carbonation to it. Maybe it's a barely off-white head with this nice rich kind of straw reaching into like copper kind of coloration to it. So it looks all the part of what you expect from a traditional Helles. Let's see what the nose has to offer. It's really fruity for me. Really fruity in a kind of tannic skin-like kind of way. A lot of times when you have open fermentation for lambic and a lot of Belgian-based kind of like beers like that, they tend to be, open the doors and have the orchard kind of inoculate the beer, and that tends to bring this kind of, for me, like this peach skinny, peach fuzzy kind of thing going on. Similar to this, but a little bit richer. I mean, the malt here at play, that kind of bigger, boisterous, more volumetric kind of malt base that they talk about on the description really does come through, but it marries with this kind of soft kind of fruity skinness. Now, I'm going to be honestly truthful. It's a generic kind of fruitiness. I can't really put my finger on it. If I really had to, it would be like a peach mixed with a little bit of orange marmalade kind of thing going on. Those are the vibes kind of I get from it, but very much in a tannic kind of yeast-derived kind of way, not necessarily from a hop addition. Hopefully that makes sense to y'all. And just that malt base is really sturdy, really dense. It has this nice kind of north of crackery, but not necessarily like toasted roastedness to it. A bit nutty, a bit kind of brown bready, not even brown bready, like nice hearty bread kind of a mix to it. It smells quite nice. Let's dive in. Cheers, y'all. That's delicious. it's delicious. I'm not shocked, because it's one of my favorite breweries. It just comes off so rich. For its low ABV too, we're talking about, what did I call it out as? 5 and change? 5.8%. It really drinks like a bigger beer than that. There's a bit of spiciness to it, almost like a rye-like kind of malt addition to it. That's probably your hops at play, adding a little bit of kind of sizzle to the way the hops kind of sting, the way the hops kind of come off and taste. But it almost comes off rye-like for me because of how big and rich this malt base is. It's almost like a double, triple decoction mash kind of thing going on here when it comes to this Helles. I think they usually call out decoction method on their can, so I doubt that's it. But they use the word to a heartier level with those German Helles, those Munich malts, and that's definitely coming through in the taste, because it is absolutely 100% a malt forward beer. Sure, that open fermentation combined with the lager vibes, you're getting this cleanness, but this little bit more kind of again, the way No Nose kind of came off, this fruitiness to the hop, this kind of next level, not hops, yeast, this, or whatever kind of little bits and pieces kind of got into the cool ship, but there's a little bit of something extra there on the microbial level. Let's put it that way. Better way to explain it that way. You get those hops. They come off a little bit spicy, a la kind of rye. I really like that because everything complements the malt side of things. The way the malt kind of comes off on this hearty. Again, that's the word. Makes so much sense to use that word in the label, and I really like it when breweries use a descriptor and nail it in the beer, and it's absolutely 100% true here, because there's just this density and this richness to the way the malt comes off. Not, in a sense, a lot of people kind of construe that with boldness, like it's like, okay, so you're talking something that's coming off like almost like roasted malt stout level. No, that's not the case. It's taking those Munich malts and just expressing the flavor that you get from those malts in a more, again, the word of the year for me, volumetric. More volumetric, louder, but not at a different level, if that makes any sense. I always make this analogy about audio. The thing about great audio when it comes to like home theater or music and stuff like that is not so much that you don't have to play it loud to hear everything that's happening in it. But if you do want to play it a little bit loud, everything is still what it is. It's just louder and crisper and cleaner. And that's kind of the thing that I get from this, is that the malt is still Munich-based malt. It's still a Helles-based kind of malt, but it's just, there's so much flavor and so much impact packed into this beer. It's just really a very, very cool take and a very, very cool riff on a traditional style Helles. Because that, bitterings is a bit spicier than I typically get. That malt is absolutely jumping off the table when you throw, again, the cool ship in there, adding those little bits and pieces in there to make it a bit more in that section. Is this one of the better Helleses that I've had as of late? Yes. Mount Rushmore status? Yes. Might be the best Helles I've ever had in my life. And that's not hyperbole. It's just delicious. I don't know what else you want me to say other than I think this beer's killer, and I'm glad I got a 4-pack of it, and I'm glad hopefully, fingers crossed, I can get this on the reg now, because not only, and we'll jump to that, because we covered Mount Rushmore says, value and availability, off the shelf, $12.99. That is winning all day. All the 4-packs they had there were all the cool ship lager, stuff like that, $12.99. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that price point. You could say that even that's a little bit expensive for Helles, but you're talking about, what goes in this beer, the cool ship, the aging, the cold fermentation time at $12.99. That is a bonkers level steal. And say, if you like we like this, if you like Helles, but you also like just Helles with a bit more to it, it's that simple in a very, very tasty way. OEC, have you been to the brewery? I have. They actually, if you were up kind of in that kind of Connecticut-ish, kind of Vermont-y, or Connecticut kind of way, I don't know what the closest town I could associate it with. It was relatively close to, not Long Live. I always confuse Long Live with another brewery out that way. Anyway, You can look it up. It's called Google. It exists. I implore you to stop by because not only is it a brewery that makes a bunch of really, really good beers, they're also an importer of a lot of beers, especially if you like Helles and things like that. A lot of beers you might know. They import Schlenkerler, they import J.W. Lee's Harvest Ales, all that stuff. So not only do you get a bunch of really great beers, you get a bunch of really great beers at the distributorship. One of the best kind of all-around stops you could ever do. So I implore you to stop by and let me know what's what. Have you had their beers? Have you had this beer? Please let me know if you've had this beer. What's your favorite OEC beer? Mine's a little bit of a cheat. It would be their Zimitor, one of their original Zimitors, which is what they did was they took J.W. Lee's Harvest Ale. They got a tanker of it, and then they barrel aged it themselves. And I think this is like a barrel aged blend between whiskey and I think it might have been a wine barrel or something like that. And then they bottle it themselves. They're mad scientists up there. So yeah, that's my favorite. All the stuff you want to talk about down there. Hopefully you enjoyed the review. Hopefully you enjoyed a little bit of OEC right now. We'll see you next time. Cheers, y'all.